Meta just agreed to pay up to $17 billion with a B and add stronger child safety measures to Facebook and Instagram. It's all part of a settlement over teen social media addiction. We say good morning to Professor Kelly Traeger at TCU's Neely School of Business. Good morning to you.
Good to be here.
All right, so let's start off with this. This settlement forces Meta to make some changes. What are the main changes that they would make?
So the main changes that are being asked for are that teens cannot see their notifications during school hours, so 8 to 3. That's the current default. Notifications will be turned off between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. And there's the stop of the autoplay feature that allows for continuous scrolling right now. Those are the initial restrictions. All of those parents can bypass. So the teen has to go and ask the parent to bypass that. That's at least how it's being proposed right now.
Does this put more power in the hands of parents?
It could. Possibly, but one of the questions is Meta is also being asked to verify student accounts. Essentially, we know that teens will fake a birth date in order to get an account, and that started earlier when there was the initial restriction of age 13. So we're not clear on what everybody's real birth date is. So now Meta is being asked to verify that the accounts belong to adults that wouldn't have restrictions versus a teen.
Which means they would have to collect that information, correct? Correct.
Which means we're asking Meta to stop collecting data on teens, but also to verify that they're not adults and are teens. They're going to need to collect some data.
So that's a frustrating catch-22.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not clear how it will be implemented, and it's not clear what will happen with that data.
Well, and also I thought was interesting, Meta said, okay, it could be, our wording was up to $17 billion.
Yes.
Meta said, okay, we'll fork over $12 billion, but hey, there's an extra $5 billion in it if you can get YouTube and TikTok and the others to play along.
Yes. So that's also a little bit unique in that Meta is asking that the government sort of enforce those against those competitors, or maybe those competitors will willingly also put those things in play, because it's a bad look to say, well, we're not going to follow those rules. So we're not sure what that looks like. But again, does it have teeth? And what happens if only one of those three competitors enforces that, puts those same restrictions on versus two? Does that mean the rest of that money is off the table? And if they don't follow according to the terms of the settlement, after 2 years, then Meta can roll back those restrictions on teen accounts.
Wow. As a business professor, I imagine this is real life writing your classroom discussions.
It is. It definitely is one of those cases that allows for a lot of different takes on what are the implications, whether it's ethical, whether it's legal, whether it is what do you do as a business person, right? Because this lawsuit was really about not the user posted content, but about how the thing was built. And so when we're thinking about founders, when we're thinking about entrepreneurs who are building new businesses, what do they need to consider moving forward in how things are built?
Yeah, and we've only got a little bit more time, but I mean, the bottom part of this and the saddest part of this is you've got families here that have really suffered from this, and who knows if they'll get relief from all this money.
Right, because right now this goes back to sort of pay for treatment that has already been paid for by governments, by school districts, etc. And important to note also, Texas is not in this settlement. Texas has a separate lawsuit for $1 billion. So it will be interesting to see what happens to that lawsuit and a number of those school district lawsuits as a result of this settlement.
There are thousands of lawsuits.
There are.
So this story will continue. All right. Professor Kelly Traeger, appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.